so we're going to get started. This is episode 4 of Between the Pages, and today we're going to be talking about J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, my favorite. Joining me today is my best friend Thorsten Hive. Say hi. And
hello,
Renegade
everyone.
Wolf. Renegade, you going to say hi to people?
Yep, hi everybody, this is Renegade over here. Also known as the person that Nessa found on the internet.
I did find you on the internet. Alright, so today we're discussing, like I said, The Hobbit, and to start out, I would like to read a synopsis that I took from the Tolkien library. I think it's one of the most accurate, least spoilery synopses I found, and I really hope that you've read it or at least a little familiar with it, or I hope to spark an interest in you to go read it ASAP. So, we're going to begin with, in a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. The hobbit hole in question belongs to Bilbo Baggins, a very respected hobbit. He is, like most of his kind, well off, well fed, and best pleased when sitting by his own fire with a pipe, a glass of good beer, and a meal to look forward to. We're going to change the beer to mead, by the way. Just by the way. Okay. We're going to keep going.
It's a superior drink, of course.
It is.
Mead lives matter.
Mead lives matter. A meal to look forward to, which they take 6 times if they can. Yay, 6 meals a day. Certainly this particular hobbit is the last person one would expect to set off on a hazardous journey. Indeed, when the wizard Gandalf the Grey stops by one morning looking for someone to share in an adventure, Baggins fervently wishes the wizard elsewhere. No such luck, however. Soon 13 fortune-seeking dwarves have arrived on the hobbit's doorstep, in search of a master burglar. And before he can grab his hat, handkerchiefs, or even an umbrella, Bilbo Baggins is swept out the door and into a dangerous and long adventure. The dwarves' goal is to return to their ancestral home in the Lonely Mountains and reclaim a stolen fortune from the dragon Smaug. Along the way, and their reluctant companion meet giant spiders, hostile elves, ravening wolves, and most perilous of all, a subterranean creature named Gollum, from whom Bilbo wins a magical ring in a riddling contest. I actually have a question, just now popped in my head. He did not win a ring in a contest of riddles. Anyone else want to weigh in on this? I'm kind of upset that I just now read this.
No, he really didn't.
He stole the ring.
He stole the ring
He's a
to begin
thief.
with. Yes.
Yeah, I would say he stole the ring. He won his life because he was about to be eaten.
He won the way out, but actually he didn't even get shown the way out. He had to trick him into like chasing his ghost, but he was behind it. It was crazy. Spoilers, my bad. Anyway, this is why I have a script. It is from this life or death game in the dark that J.R.R. Tolkien's masterwork, The Lord of the Rings, would eventually spring. Though The Hobbit is lighter in tone than the trilogy that follows, it has, like Bilbo Baggins himself, unexpected iron at its core. Don't be fooled by its fairy tale demeanor. This is very much a story for adults, though older children will enjoy it too. By the time Bilbo returns to his comfortable hobbit hole, he is a different person, altogether well primed for the bigger adventures to come, and so is the reader. Alright, again, I'm mad. This was a children's story! This was written for small children. Small,
I
little,
know, but
little babies.
didn't Tolkien initially do the main kind of base round for The Hobbit in or around his time in the First World War? So it's kind of reflecting on that too.
I think that was actually when he was writing to his son about the trilogy, not The Hobbit. He actually wrote The Hobbit for his son. Like he was I don't know, bored one day or something.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, the World Wars owed more into the resulting trilogy. The Hobbit was always kind of meant to be a little bit more,
softer.
child-friendly. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I agree. I always get frustrated whenever people try to convince me that The Hobbit is way too advanced for kids. It's a kid's book.
This is like a 300-page book.
As far as I define one.
And this is the illustrated version. This is a 300-page book meant for children to read. Case in point, my 5-year-old niece is quietly enjoying her rendition of The Hobbit, right?
She is, yeah. We've been working our way through this rendition with slightly larger illustrations to make it easier for her to see and really enjoy. But so far she's been following it wonderfully.
Although it's very pretty. All right, so a little bit of frustration. I thought we were really trying to avoid this up front, but what I really want to talk about today is...
They got the riddling contest right.
They did. They did. And I actually have the riddles marked in here for reading during our our segment. So I'm excited about that. Is there anything else that the synopsis touched on that we want to discuss before I talk about the songs, poetry, and riddles?
No, not really. It's generally just the synopsis is sorry, not the poetry is actually quite nice. Just the visuals in this poetry in particular are very pleasant.
Yes, and I think after each of my recitations, Thorsenheim's going to grace us with a description of its origin and how it reflects in the Middle Earth world. Yes?
I will do what I can.
All right, so our very first song/poem, and there are quite a few in Tolkien's works, is, and they don't even have titles, but if you've seen The Hobbit, I believe it was the first one, is called An Unexpected Journey, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the first volume. Okay. It's in there. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And actually, Thorsenheim will throw a link down for everyone to hear Crack the Plates. Chip the glasses and crack the plates. Blunt the knives and bend the forks. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. Smash the bottles and burn the corks. Cut the cloth and tread the fat. Pour the milk on the pantry floor. Leave the bones on the bedroom mat. Splash the wine on every door. Dump the crocks in a boiling bowl. Pound them up with a thumping pole. And when you've finished in any or hole, send them down the hall to roll. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. So carefully, carefully with the plates. I'm sorry, I get excited. I really meant to just recite it. I get really into it.
It is particularly catchy. I will give you that.
I love it. Do you want to go over that before I go into the serious one that'll probably make me cry, and I really hope I don't sing?
Well, so this one, even though it's primarily, at least in the way we read it, and certainly in the movie, it's presented to us by dwarves. I think it's a wonderful celebration of hobbits and hobbit culture, and it's all about food and all about keeping your dishware clean and not broken, and how in the act of doing so is this terrible atrocity that could potentially befall a hobbit, and it's such a beautiful celebration of Bilbo and ridiculousness, and it's pleasant to listen to, and it's pleasant to sing, and I love everything about it and how it celebrates being a hobbit.
I love it, love it, love it. Dwarves are very lively when they want to celebrate. Okay.
That they are.
The next one is part of my favorite, and hopefully we'll get that link set in there. It's called Misty Mountain, or Far Over the Misty Mountain, whichever title you please. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away at break of day to seek the pale enchanted gold. The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells, in places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells. For ancient king and elvish lord, there many a gleaming golden hoard, they shaped and wrought, and light they caught, to hide in gems on hilt of sword. On silver necklaces they strung the flowering stars, and crowns they hung the dragon fire in twisted wire, they meshed the light of moon and sun. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away at break of day to claim our long forgotten gold. Goblets they carved there for themselves, and harps of gold where no man dwells. There they lay long, and many a song was sung unheard by men or elves. The pines were roaring on the height, the winds were moaning in the night. The fire was red, it flaming spread, the trees like torches blazed with light. The bells were ringing in the dale, and men looked up with faces pale. The dragon's ire, more fierce than fire, laid low their towers and houses frail. The mountain smoked beneath the moon, the dwarves they heard the tramp of doom, they fled their hall to dying fall beneath his feet, beneath the moon. Far over the misty mountains grim, to dungeons deep and caverns dim, we must away ere break of day to win our harps and golds from him. That one breaks my heart, like, every time. Like, I can't. So what do you got for us?
It is a particularly... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
That one in particular is effectively more about loss in The Hobbit. It's a little bit dark. It is effectively the only darker poem in the entire book. It's a little bit heavier. Again, this does bring up again the query on, like, you know, is this for children with this level of darkness? That's the only poem that I don't particularly like in this series.
Oh, I love this poem, but I think that including this poem is actually a really good introduction to the thought and the idea of loss for children. Like, I'm old. My birthday was yesterday. I'm 30 now. And the first feeling of loss that I can recall when I was a child outside of literature was actually Land Before Time, when Littlefoot lost his mother.
Oh no!
And, like,
No!
Yeah.
Looking back at it as an adult, like, that level of loss, like, that's exactly what this poem in this book is about, is, like, letting children know, hey, this is gonna happen. It may not happen soon, it may not happen to you right now, but, like, I think it prepares them. And I think that was Tolkien's, like, idea when he puts loss into books. He wants people to understand, hey, this is gonna happen. And that poem just touches me. And because it's from dwarves, oh my gosh, if you do not listen to that song from that link, I will cry. I will literally sob to death. Oh yeah, Littlefoot has great lessons. Like, I watched the entire series even as I grew older. I'll still watch them. I think they're actually on Netflix. I'm down. You got any more?
I will say, without doing too much to draw attention to the film, this particular song I do feel was wonderfully done in the movies. I thought that they did it some justice.
Oh my
God,
it
was
those
beautiful
voices.
To listen to.
But I'm telling you that you have heard that rendition, right? My favorite.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, by Klamavi, absolutely. I love everything they do.
Next time you and I are together, we are gonna have to sing that for 20 minutes. It's gonna happen.
Fun fact, I actually sing several of these songs to my daughter almost nightly. Misty Mountains was one that she would often request for the first 3 years of her life, just because the rhythmic tones, and I tried to sing it in the way they did in the film, but those deep resonating
Yeah,
tones
I
would
don't
often
have that.
help soothe her to sleep. And it's I've always been in love with dwarven culture, period, just as a thing. But I will say, for any aspiring parents out there, if you want to get your kids to go to sleep, play them dwarven music, preferably from a group like Clamavi de Profundis with beautiful ranges and wonderfully deep richness. It will save you many hours of trying to get your kids to sleep.
It will. Also, fun fact, my daughter's favorite that she likes to request still as a 9-year-old is Edge of Night. And yeah,
Ooh,
that's not in the Hobbit, but
that's a beautiful one.
it's one I can really do. Billy Boyd, I can hit his pitches.
Okay, if we're talking about Hobbit songs, the Song of Durin has the again mental visuals, especially talking about Mirror.
Oh my gosh. Just Renegade, follow that last link that he gave you and just save it.
I've
It's
got
saved in
I've
mine.
got a link for the Song of Durin here as well.
Okay. I don't really know the title of this next one, so here we go. Oh, what are you doing and where are you going? Your ponies need shoeing, the river is flowing. Oh, tra-li-la-li-la-li-la, here down in the valley. Oh, what are you seeking and where are you making? The faggots are reeking, the Bangkoks are baking. Oh, trilly-lully-la-li-la, the valley is jolly, ha ha ha. Oh, where are you going with beards a-wagging? No knowing, no knowing. What brings Mr. Baggins and Ballin and Dwallin down to the valley in June, ha ha. Oh, will you be staying or will you be flying? Your ponies are straying, the daylight is dying. The fly will follow, the stay will be jolly, and listen and hark till the end of dark to our tune, ha ha. So that was a song sung by oh my gosh. They were like nymphs, but they're not nymphs. Oh god, what are they? The spiders, what are they called? That was the spiders, right? When they got lost in the wood.
I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I'm blanking on that one as well. You lost me.
It was either tricksy elves or it was the spiders. So we'll move
What
on
part of the
from
book
that
was
one.
that in again?
That was. I have to go back. A Short Rest.
I will see if I can't figure it out.
I think that was the song the spiders sung as they tried to capture them. I can't entirely recall though.
Like I want to say it was after the river and they were going into the forest straying from the path like they shouldn't have. I want to say that. Spoilers, by the way. My bad, everybody.
I think we need to divert back to the script.
Yeah.
They were elves.
The tricksy
elves. It says so right after the song.
Oh.
Yep. They were elves, of course.
Of course. All right.
Of course.
The next
a pretty
one,
fair nonsense.
Do you have anything that you want to say about that, or do you want to go over to the Goblin song?
We can jump right over to the Goblin song. I think he said it perfectly well. Elves are pretty fair nonsense.
They are. Clap, snap,
they are
the black
not as
crack,
badass
rip,
as the movie
grab,
makes
pinch,
them
snap, and down to Goblin Town you go, my lad. Clash, crash, crush, smash, hammer and tongs, gronker and grongs, pound for underground, ho, ho, my lad. Swish, smack, whip, crack, batter and beat, yammer and bleat, work, nor dare to shriek, while goblins quaff and goblins laugh, and round for underground below, my lad. Jesus, why do I do that? Why do I challenge myself to do these things? I shouldn't. Anyway, so
I
yeah,
thought that
was
was fantastic.
The Goblin song has a tempo, to be fair.
It really
It
does,
does.
and I like trying to put into how I'm saying it as like their persona, I guess. And luckily, I didn't trip over my tongue too much. I attribute that to reading Dr. Seuss's Fox and Socks. And if you haven't read that, you're not a masochist like I am. All right, so do we have anything else we want to say about goblins?
Again, the same way that we were talking earlier about the celebration of hobbits, I think the simplicity of the goblin song lends itself to talking about goblins. And I thought that was fantastic. Sorry to interrupt there, Renegade.
And the best way to kind of look at goblins is effectively a kind of a less civilized and more survivalistic dwarf. They're not there for the shiny, they're not there for the minerals, they're there to simply dig and make more room for more goblins and then dig to make more room.
Very
They
primal, yeah.
they thrive in that kind of that horde kind of mentality where dwarves would be like, this is for this room and this room only, which it does kind of explain that in a little bit deeper into the book.
Right. Well, the next thing we have on here is actually the riddles. So I will read the riddles off, and I would like my guests here to give me the answers, because I know they know. But chat, if you do have an answer, please type it up in the stream. Love it. All right. What has roots as no one sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows.
A mountain.
Mountain. All right. Yes, it is a mountain. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still.
I'm going to leave this one to our other magical guest here because I can't remember that one off the top of my head.
It's teeth.
It is teeth. But unfortunately, he said this to Smeagol, and Smeagol only has not 30.
I was going to say, he doesn't have 30 anymore. I think he has what?
He has
5
6.
or 6?
All right.
Not many.
Voiceless it cries, wingless flutters, toothless bites, mouthless mutters.
That would be the wind.
It is the wind. All right. An eye in a blue face saw an eye in a green face. That eye is like this eye, said the first eye, but in low place, not in high place.
I believe that one's the sun.
It is the sun.
I believe the earth.
It is the sun. Oh, and thank you, Crew 5 Nick. I don't really know what to call you. I'm going to say Nick. I just am. I appreciate it.
That's one of my guys. And dude, thank you so much for popping by. Much appreciated.
Always appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right.
Next Debbie one. Boy, I love you.
Next one is: it cannot be seen, cannot be felt, cannot be heard, cannot be smelt. It lies behind the stars and under hills, and empty holes it fills. It comes first and follows after, and's life kills laughter.
That would be the darkness.
Is the darkness.
Which is also a wonderful hair metal band, but we won't get into that. That's a whole other conversation.
Okay. A box without hinges, key or lid, yet golden treasure inside is hid.
That would be an egg.
It is an egg. Alive without breath, as cold as death. Never thirsty, ever drinking. All in male, never clinking.
Is that a fish?
It is a fish.
No. I'm lost.
It's a fish.
It is a fish.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
I do have to say some of the riddles that didn't make it into the film are actually quite difficult.
Yes, they are.
So I'll say this: the little hint with male reminded me of the Song of Durin, which mentions fish's
Yes.
male, and
I love it.
we just won't get into the fact that I used a different Tolkien thing to figure that out.
All right. This thing all things devours, birds, beasts, trees, flowers, gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal, slays kings, ruins towns, it beats high mountains down.
That would be time.
Would be time. All right. That was the last actual riddle. His final riddle, what's in my pocket? You get 3 guesses.
Well, it's not
technically,
Skittles.
it wasn't a riddle. He said to ask him a question.
Yeah.
Bilbo didn't break the rules. He just clever use of game mechanics.
Oh, okay. All right.
Listen, there's a reason why most rogues are based on him. Okay.
Oh, is that right? Okay, so the next couple are all from goblins, so they're all going to be this primitive beat, I guess. So 15 birds and 5 fir trees, their feathers were fanned in fiery breeze, but funny little birds, they had no wings. So what shall we do with the funny little things? Roast them alive or stew them in a pot, fry them, boil them, or eat them hot. That's fun. Burn,
That
burn,
one
tree
always
and fern,
that one
shrivel
made me
and scorch a
smile.
fizzle torch to light the night for our delight. Yea, hey! Bake and toast 'em, fry 'em, roast 'em, till beards blaze and eyes glaze, till hair smells and skins crack, fat melts and bones black, and cinders lie beneath the sky. So dwarfs shall die and light the night for our delight. Hey, hey, yo ho, yea, hey, yaha, yo ray, ha ha. Holy crap!
You do have to love the intensity of goblin poetry.
Right? Goblin poetry. We're just
Well
very
read, by the way.
angry.
You didn't stumble through that as much as I would have.
Well, I like to think that I'm a professional reader, so not like LeVar Burton. He is the man, the master, the myth, the legend. Sounds like witches or trolls want to. Goblins are about to, well, try and devour dwarves that are hiding in a tree. All right, what is this next one? Great door. So this is the dwarven song. The wind was on the withered heath, but in the forest stirred no leaf. Their shadows lay by night and day, and dark things silent creep beneath. The wind came down from mountains cold, like a tide and roared and rolled. The branches groaned, the forest moaned, the leaves were laid upon the mould. The wind went from west to east, all movement in the forest ceased, but shrill and harsh across the marsh, its whistling voices were released. The grasses hissed, their tassels bent, the reeds were rattling, on it went. Or shaken pool under heaven's cool, where races clouds were torn and rent. It passed the lonely mountain bare, and swept above the dragon's lair. They're black and dark, they lay boulders stark, and flying smoke was in the air. It left the world and took its flight, over wide seas of the night. The moon set sail upon the gale, and stars were feigning to leap the light. Also, it popped in my head while I was reading that I am a published poet and prose writer, so I hope I can read. I really hope I can read poetry. Oh,
You're doing fantastically.
thank you.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Nat. So some of these poems are just they're a tongue twister inside of a tongue twister.
Okay, I believe this is Bilbo's song. Oh, yes, this is Bilbo's song. They're actually caught by the spiders now. Okay. Old pet spider spinning in a tree. Old pet spider can't see me. Attercup, won't you stop your spinning and look for me? Old Tom Noddy, all big body. Old Tom Noddy can't spy me. Attercup, don't you drop. You'll never catch me up your tree. So that is a Hobbit song. that he literally just popped out. Here's a continuation. Lazy lob and
Now,
crazy cob were weaving webs and wind in me. I am far more sweet than other meat, but still they cannot find me. Here I am, naughty little fly. You are fat and lazy. You can't trap me, though you try. In your cobber webs, you crazy.
in the audacity of how Bilbo said this to the spiders and the proximity and stuff like that is just to be admired, though, to be entirely fair.
Right? Like, think about how hobbits are not confrontational at all. Like, I mean, they have these very strict societal rules, and you just, it's not done to, like, break them. And so he's over here taunting, being super rude, and he's really courageous about it.
Well, we are also kind of forgetting the whole Took side of Bilbo.
Yes, all the toots.
That's an important part.
Yes.
The best part, even.
It is. The Tooks in The Hobbit are effectively the less civilized but slightly more wealthy version of the Bagginses.
They are.
So
they really
the Tooks are some of my favorites.
Who doesn't
To
love
be
Peregrine
entirely
Took? But actually, my when I actually had a cat, his name was Pippin. I loved him. He was a troublemaker. Anyway, so yes, Hobbits.
My first cat was Frodo because he liked to go on journey.
I love it. I think this is from elves that were a little bit drunk, okay? So, roll, 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 rolling down the hole. Heave, ho, splash, pump, down they go, down they bump. Down the swift dark stream you go, back the lands you once did know, leave the halls and caverns deep, leave the northern mountains steep, where the forest wide and dim stoops in shadow gray and grim, float beyond the world of trees, out into the whispering breeze, past the rushes, past the reeds, past the marshes waving weeds, through the mist that rises with, up for mere portal at night, follow, follow, stars that leap, up the heavens cold and steep, turn when down the river comes land, over rapid, over sand, south away, seek the sunlight and the day, back to pasture, back to mead, where the kine and oxen feed, back to gardens on the hills, where berry swells and fills, and sunlight under sunlight day. South away, down the swift dark stream you go, back to lands you once did know. Holy crap. That actually tripped me up. It really did.
That's
you
the
had
elves
a
for you.
tarantula called Shelob? Oh my god, I'm so in love. Was it a blue one? I love blue ones. They're so pretty. Ah. Alright, what do we got here? We have another dwarven song. Are we ready for this? The king beneath the mountains, the king of cavern stone, the lord of silver fountains, shall come into his own. His crown shall be upholden, his harp shall be restrung, his halls shall echo golden to songs of yore resung. The woods shall wave on mountains, and grass beneath the sun. His wealth shall flow in fountains, and rivers golden run. The stream shall run in gladness, the lake shall shine and burn. All sorrows fail in sadness at the mountain king's return. It's so sad. I think this is when they were partying right before they left to actually go to Smaug. I'm pretty sure they were in Rivertown.
Yeah, that was right.
Mexican red
And
meat.
I've got a link for that one as well. I just have to find it again.
Well, go ahead and throw it in whenever you feel like it. Oh, look. More dwarven things that'll make me sad. Under the mountain dark and tall, the king has come into his hall. His foe is dead, the worm of dread, and ever so his foe shall fall. This is obviously after they killed Smaug. Smaug, my bad. The sword is sharp. I did not just say sword. I did. The sword is sharp, the spear is long, the arrow swift, the gate is strong. The heart is bold that looks on gold. The dwarves no more shall suffer wrong. The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells in places deep where dark things sleep in hollow halls beneath the fells. On silver necklaces they strung, the light of stars on crowns they hung, the dragon fire from twisted wire, the melody of harps they rung. The mountain throne once more is freed, O wandering folk, the summons heed, come haste across the waste, the king and friend and kin has need. Now call we over the mountains cold, come back unto the caverns old. Here at the gates the king awaits, his hands are rich with gems and gold. The king is come into the hall, under the mountain dark and tall. The worm of dread is slain and dead, and ever our foes shall fall. And they did the thing. They made me sad. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever heard a dwarven song that doesn't have at least one somber or dark moment in it.
I mean, technically, Crack the Plates is a dwarven song, and it's all fun.
Okay, fine.
That
I'll
it
give you that one.
is.
Okay, okay, so this is an elven song. The dragon is withered, his bones are now crumbled, his armor is shivered, his splendor is humbled. The sword shall be rusted, and throne and crown perish, with strength that men trusted, and wealth that they cherish. Here grass is still growing, and leaves are yet singing, the white water flowing, and elves are yet singing. Come tra-li-la-li-la, back to the valley. This is another aspect of the one that we heard earlier. The stars are far brighter than gems without measure. The moon is far whiter than silver and treasure. The fire is more shining on hearth than in gloaming, than gold without mining. So why are they a roaming? O trolley-lolly, come back to the valley. Oh, where are you going so late in returning? The river is flowing, the stars are all burning. Oh, withered so laden, oh sad and so dreary, our elf and elf maiden now welcome and weary. Trolley-la, come back to the valley. Trolley-la, folly-la, folly-la. Oh. It makes me sad. They wanted them to come back. Okay, I think this is our last song. So, and this is sung by... This is sung by Bilbo. Okay, so this is yet another Hobbit song. Roads go ever on, over rock and under tree, by caves where never sun has shone, by streams that never find the sea, over snow by winter's sown, and through the merry flowers of June, over grass and over stone, and under the mountains in the moon. Roads go ever on, under cloud and under star, yet feet at that wandering have gone, turn at last to go home afar, eyes that fire and sword have seen, and horror in the halls of stone. Look in the last of the meadows green, and trees and hills they long have known. So, I don't know a whole lot of Hobbit songs, but I know that one, and I know Edge of Night, and that really... They have a habit of... I mean, everyone's songs tell, like, a story, the dwarves especially, but, like, Hobbits always talk about home, in my experience. They want to be home. They want to be in their comfortable lives. And I think that song speaks to the values that hobbits have.
Yes, the
Absolutely.
hobbits do kind of like they gravitate towards comfort, normality, and free breakfasts and all the general creature comforts that
There is
they are well known for in the
breakfast,
book.
second breakfast, 11 C's, lunch, afternoon tea,
11 Seas
dinner, and
afternoon tea
supper.
and all the magic.
That's 7. That's actually 7, not 6. So, anyway, yes, hobbits eat a lot. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Thor, do you have anything to add about the songs?
Not sure where I went or how I got there, but no, I did not have anything else to add as of yet.
Okay. Well then, Who wants to see Nessa get some spice? We're gonna throw some cayenne in my eyes, and yeah, I'm gonna rage for a little bit. And we've already gone for 45 minutes, so this is gonna be great, right?
I'm all for it.
All right. Well, it was Renegade's idea, so we're gonna make him start, and I'm just gonna interrupt him a lot and rage. So take it away.
Okay, so we're now officially on a comparison between the film and the book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my big kind of like it's obviously creative direction from the director of the movie, but how Thorin came across in the book compared to the movie. The book, a kind of like royalty, like royalty talking down towards people. This is how it is, and this is I like the sound of my own voice compared to in the movie he's very quiet. He's very recluse. He's effectively like he's effectively the badass of the story, but obviously but compared to the book itself, Thorin does not meet that character. Does not meet the kind of the set expectation what you would think for someone like who's such a central plotline.
I never even thought about it, and like I completely agree. Like the book Thorin and the movie Thorin are polar opposites in
I found that to be a sorry, go ahead.
I think I kind of disagree in a way with you. I think movie Thorin is just really intense, and while he's quiet and kind of broody, I think that he's far more ferocious than what I got from reading the book. Like reading the book, I think you're right. He was very regal. He was very, I'm in charge. I'm the boss. I don't really have to do anything else other than the fact that I'm the king. And
Yes.
in the movie, he was a complete badass. He was like, all right, this is how it's gonna be, and I'm gonna make you do this. As opposed to in the book,
Yes.
everyone just kind of did it anyway.
Thor? There are a few characters in particular that I found that like if the director of the movie followed them in a more of a traditional manner compared to the context of the book, I think Smaug would have been absolutely much more terrifying.
Yeah, I wasn't even afraid of Smaug. Not even a little bit.
Smaug in the book is Smaug in the book is effectively a great white shark with Albert Einstein's brain. Complete understanding of everything. While in the book, Smaug is effectively portrayed as the sleeping dragon in the movie, Smaug's portrayed as the sleeping dragon who got woken up, doesn't know what's going on, but hey, I'm gonna burn the thing over there.
All right, I can think about that. Thor, what do you think?
I have a little of a disagreement there. I do feel like in the movie that they did a decent job of portraying him as intelligent. He was very willing to have a conversation and to essentially toy with Bilbo at the time. I think in that regard they did a decent job of portraying his overall intelligence, that he wasn't just a big lumbering flamethrower.
Well, I think he was a very intelligent character in the movie. I think they kind of glossed over it. Like the movie's called The Desolation of Smaug. And like his part was so minimal, and I can get it. The CGI was really expensive. But his part was so minimal, but he was like he was the epicenter of the plot. That right there, that was the peak.
Yeah.
And they just kind of glossed over him, other than the fact that, oh, look, Bard's got this really big harpoon. Bam.
Yeah. Like some of the stuff as well, like when in the book where Smaug talks about the fact that he's eaten 6 horses and he's going to let Bilbo go just to see what happens, compared to the I'm going to chase you through the dwarven horde of the movie as well is something else there that's just a comparison. There's just, like the level of like the sadistic nature of Smaug is more well portrayed in the book. He does this is my kind of reference. He comes across as a great white shark with the brain of Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
He is clinically in control of everything. It's not I'm a monster. It's I'm
Yeah,
a
I
monster
think
and I
it's
know what I'm
because
doing.
they definitely like glossed over it. They were like, "Oh, we've got enough in this movie," and I think that they missed an opportunity to like delve into that character. That's my theory, obviously.
Any of you guys have any other bits that you want to bring up? 'Cause I have a few
Everyone knows why I
in
want to
compare.
scream. Everyone knows why. Ugh! What's her name again? Let me scream.
The
Tauriel,
elf.
Tariel. All right,
Tauriel,
so
yes.
let
the
me
she
explain
elf.
something to you. I'm trying not to clap. I'm really trying not to clap on you guys. So let me explain this to you. I am pro feminism. I am pro let's put women in power. I'm pro put a woman as our main plot. This book is almost 100 years old. Okay? Don't mess with my classic. There is not a single female in this book. Not a single one. You put Tariel, some unknown, not real, made up she-elf in my story. So one of the most valiant dwarves, and we're going to touch on why are the dwarves attractive in a second. You're going to do it just so you have a romantic plot twist. Why? Not every story needs romance. Not every story is like, oh, I love you, true love will end the world or something, save the world. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You put a made up story. Like I could just overlook Legolas being there. I can overlook it, you know? You want to bring in some more people, put Legolas's face in there, Orlando Bloom. He's a lot skinnier than he used to be, so he looks a little weird to me, but whatever. So I could overlook him being there because, you know, he was at least alive during that time. But you made up an entire character to do something that was completely unnecessary. Let this movie be about an adventure. Don't make it about love. Please and thank you. Also, let's get on to why are the dwarves so freaking hot? Explain this to me. At least 3 of them, possibly 4, are rather attractive. And I don't know if you know this, but dwarves, even their women, have beards. Yes. And they're
Yeah.
scruffy. And they're bushy.
Yeah.
And they're gruff. Gosh! Put Keeley on a plate and give him to me, please. Anybody. Feely too. I'll take them both. You know what? Throw Thorin in. And what's the other guy with the weird ass hat? When he takes the weird ass hat, he's hot too. So yeah, I'm a little mad. I'm a little mad
was
that
that
my dwarves are
Dory?
hot.
Is it Dory or
Dory,
Nori? I
yeah.
can't remember.
I
I think it was
Dory.
Nori. I think it was Nori. I have no.
He
I'm gonna
he
rewatch
sings
this
the old
movie.
Grey Hill, and it's a wonderful song. But
Yes.
yeah,
Ah, he has such a beautiful voice.
I will say though, I didn't. I went on a whole rant about this in the movie theater. Is that like beards for dwarves are like a source of pride, and not having one is considered a source of shame. And Keeley's, while the actor looks fantastic and the character is
Where is it?
badass, there's like no beard. He's like
He's
been
got 5 o'clock
from a
shadow.
dwarven perspective. Yeah, from a dwarven perspective, he's completely emasculated.
Like,
And
all
it's
right, so Game of Thrones people, it would be like one of the someone in your Khalasar taking off your freaking ponytail or whatever they call it. Like you're complete. You have been defeated in battle. Something you have done has shamed you if you don't have a giant bushy beard. Okay. I get a little passionate about my character.
that was wonderful.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful thing to watch.
Oh, I'm so glad.
It really was.
Anyone else want to go? And then, you know, piss me off a little more?
I have stuff about the, like, obviously the higher animals, like the stuff that the animals of the Valar, like the what's it, the raven, the eagles. We
Oh
don't
yes,
really
yes.
see them talking to, like, you don't, like, I would have loved to see at the Desolation of Smaug in the morning a raven coming up and talking to Balin.
That would have been great. Like I'm just like there are so many
It's the
missed
smaller
opportunities.
things that give a bigger push on the involvement of the Valar
Well, see,
in.
I think that things like that are the reason that we have people on the whole camp of why couldn't they just ride the eagles to Mount Doom for the Lord of the Rings trilogy? You know why they saved Gandalf and the dwarves in The Hobbit? Because the King of the Eagles owed Gandalf for saving his life. Gandalf healed him when he was sick. So
Mm,
King of the Eagles was like, "Oh yeah, I can come help you." And
he's
it's
like,
the
I
same
got
thing
you.
for at the end of the trilogy. That's why the Eagles came for a favor. It's not they're not a taxi service. And they've
Oh,
got
I
their
know
own
the
wars
like.
to fight.
Yeah, I know, like Adar has like he keeps their job is to be a police, but they're not to be directly involved. They can watch and they can adjust the situations, but they cannot have direct involvement. But like the whole thing of seeing like an iron foot raven, one of the higher like
It
animals
would have been
of
so
the
cool.
trilogy, would have been, it's a missed opportunity. A raven, like a
Absolutely.
103-year-old raven, telling you that he hatched 103 years ago and remembers everything that his father told him, would have been
Mm.
just fantastic for a children's book. Like, and obviously taking this into the context of the film too, like that would have just been fantastic. There were so many weird missed opportunities.
Yeah. And you guys can have my raven in chat. Thor, I don't know if you've seen my new ravens or not, but I am now putting them in
I
chat.
have
Ravens are
not.
super cool.
Oh my
The
gosh,
Ravens
those are
are super
fantastic.
cool.
Yes. Cosmic Irony, I don't know if you're going to watch this at all, but thank you again. Cosmic Irony has been so kind as to design my character, and most people have their own animal character to represent them or whatever, and I picked a raven. Obviously, you helped me. And I think he did a great job throwing in my raven. I've got my smirk raven coming out. It's actually called Come At Me, so or Fight Me, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, ravens would have been great. I wanted to see them.
Ravens would have been great. That would have,
I
it is a
now want
missed
to
opportunity.
rewatch the movies, even though I'm gonna get mad. And this is exactly why I wanted to do this. Like I want you guys to read the book. It literally will take you 4 hours, 5, 6 tops. So you could read this in a couple days if you had the time. Or you could do like Renegade and I did and listen to the audiobook, and it will literally only take you 4 hours. I love that version. Ah, I had a dog eat that version. I was very mad.
I recommend not feeding it to your dogs, but
I did not
this is
feed it to
one
my
that
dog.
I wholeheartedly recommend
This
this
is
one
not an
because it's
edible
convenient for
upgrade.
travel.
It really is. You can put it in your pocket. Yeah, I got the 75th anniversary edition because it's illustrated. Anyway, where are we going next, guys? What else do we want
Oh
to discuss?
goodness. You got any others, Renegade?
There's a few, to be entirely fair. The Men of Lake Town, where, like, obviously pre-Smaug attack, like the Men of Lake Town effectively came across as much more militant and much more kind of aggressive. Like, it was really weird how the film, compared to the book, toned down such key aspects of the, obviously, the Tolkien universe. I'm presuming they did that for story, for story and budget and time frame and the aspects of the thing. But the Men of Lake Town, I did find that they were more militaristic than the drunken guards who like to sit there and harass fishermen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is how I picked. It's how I did pick them up. It is more. They're much more kind of like they're more overtly aggressive than, hey, we see you. I want 3 gold coins to allow your boat in instead of 2.
Yeah, now I kind of wish that I watched this before we did this, right after I read the book. Because, like, I don't think about these things. Like, I didn't think about the drastic difference that was the portrayal of Thorn from the book to the movie. And it was severe, actually, when you think about
Yeah, there was, like, I have, like, in my professional kind of side of things, I have to be very exact on things. So this kind of stuff, and like the deviations are very weird for me in regards to like Gollum. Gollum was effectively and significantly much more terrifying in the books than the soft, lovable, but also slightly scary Gollum and Smeagol kind of hybrid we got in the movie. But Gollum in the book is effectively, I'm going to eat you just to see what happens.
I don't know, because I think I've always seen Gollum as something frightening, because, I mean, obviously, before I saw their cinematic portrayal, I already had this vision in my head. And my brother, who's 6 years younger than I am, when I watched the trilogy when it first came out, he was mortified. So it always like resonates with me that Gollum is this wild card, this thing that we don't know what he's gonna do, and he's very primitive about it. Like even thinking back
Yeah,
on the flashback that they have in Return of the King, whenever
yeah,
whenever he was actually Smeagol.
yeah. Like some of this, like I also really liked how in the book, as Bilbo escapes goblin tunnels, he tells it as like Gollum was the one chasing him, and he escaped because Gollum chased him, while Bilbo never mentioned the dozen heavily armed goblin guards that he had to bypass to get away to get
Mhm.
away from Gollum. It's like the book is told from effectively Bilbo's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. The movie is told from Bilbo's perspective, while the book is in essence the factual state of events,
Mhm.
where you have everything that did happen, and then you have the version that effectively Bilbo told the dwarves.
Yep.
So one thing I will say is that for me, uh, Gollum didn't really stick with me the first time I read the book. He was a creepy weirdo in the background, but he didn't really sit with me all that much. When I was younger, it was it was the very first book my mom introduced to me. The Smaug is what really stuck with me. He was the big overarching scary thing. That being said, when I got a little bit older and watched the animated movies from what was that, the 80s? That version of Gollum to this day will still keep me up at night more than it probably should. That version was all the right kinds of freaky to just stick.
Think that had a
And
lot to do with the animation. That style.
yeah,
Oh
I
gosh. Like
I was
I
really happy
remember
actually.
do you remember the Black Cauldron? I was just thinking about that.
Yes,
It's along the
yes.
same style of drawing. It's
Mhm.
terrifying, especially at a young age.
Mhm. I will say that when I got to Peter Jackson's films and found and I agree, Gollum is a bit softer represented there. It's meant to inspire more pity and less immediate fear, um, which works for the story he was trying to tell. But I, for one, was happy that they went for more of the pitiful, creepy, and less of the terrifying.
I would have preferred a more creepy Gollum. And I think it's because of his initial background. The story of Gollum itself is completely fascinating. But like, effectively, someone who's killed someone, ran away, spent about 200 years living in a cave to get captured not once but twice, and on the second time get tortured. I wanted to see. Did want the more predatory, broken kind of aspects of Gollum to come out more
I
in the
could see that.
movie.
I can definitely see that.
I think that's a fair
Like,
argument for sure.
there is an argument for for a Gollum that is more like not running away but more aggressive, but at the same point it's a case of picking your poison on your target audience.
Yeah, I
Selling an
think
aggressive Gollum would have
I
been
think
more like 16, but like a softer, scared Gollum is probably where Peter Jackson was aiming on this.
yeah, I think they definitely highlighted with his bipolar character. I think that they highlighted the more frightened and meek person more than the like predatory primal. I actually have this plan to like kill you and survive, you know.
Yeah, that's the side that like, as someone who's read The Hobbit before, as like read the stuff before seeing the movie and then reread it, obviously for a beautiful podcast. Sorry. Um, I would have much rather preferred the predatory side of Gollum, because effectively Gollum is that like the more predatory, instinctual side of people that
Yeah,
comes
I
out.
think he would have been like a nice addition to be a little more monstrous in that particular movie because yeah.
I definitely see your argument, and I see the appeal of it for sure.
Okay. I
Like
think we are
the
going to
month like
actually wrap up now. We've gone over an hour, so this is going to be monstrous for me to download, and even worse for poor failed to edit. If we can ever
can
get
we
that to
get
work.
F's in chats for Ness's frames
I don't
on her
even know what
downloads?
that means. What does that mean? But no, I really want to encourage everybody to check out the links that Thorsenheim listed in chat. Once this is uploaded to YouTube, I'm actually going to add those links into the comments for it. I really appreciate everyone coming out here. I appreciate the new follow, Crew 5 Nick. You're great. I love the participation. Thank you again, Thorsenheim, for being here with me. As always, Renegade, thank you for your guest appearance. I appreciate it so much. And we're going to be back
No
in a few
problem at all,
minutes.
Nessa.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to be back in a few minutes playing Diablo. I hope Renegade actually goes to bed soon because he has work. But
I may or may not. I may get some tea and some other things and run around on some additional projects, but I'll be jumping into chat to watch you guys have some fun.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support and everything like that. So I will see you guys in a few minutes. I'm actually going to grab a bite to eat and we will be back on soon. All right. Catch you guys.